Ted Bundy. To some, he was intelligent, charismatic, even charming. But behind the smile hid something far more sinister. Today, we uncover the truth, not just about his crimes, but about how a man like him fooled an entire country. Born in 1946, Ted Bundy grew up under a lie. His mother, unwed at the time, pretended to be his sister. He was raised by his grandparents in a home marked by strict rules and emotional distance. Despite his turbulent early life, Bundy appeared to thrive. He studied psychology, volunteered at suicide hotlines, and even worked in politics. People called him polite, smart, trustworthy. But it was all a performance. In the early 1970s, young women began disappearing across several states: Washington, Oregon, Utah, and Colorado. Each case had similarities: college age, long dark hair parted in the middle. Bundy had a type, and it eerily resembled an ex-girlfriend who had broken his heart years before. Investigators were baffled. No crime scenes, no clear evidence. Only a charming stranger seen asking for help. A man with a cast or on crutches who never raised suspicion. Bundy didn't chase his victims. He lured them. He'd fake an injury, drop his keys, or ask for help lifting books into his car, a beaten-up VW Beetle modified to remove the passenger door handle. Once inside, his demeanor changed. But by then, it was too late. He was meticulous. He moved between states to avoid patterns. He studied police tactics. He anticipated their every move. It wasn't chaos, it was cold strategy. 1977, Aspen, Colorado. Bundy was allowed to research his own defense in a law library, alone. He opened a second-story window and jumped. Despite injuring his ankle, he fled into the mountains. For 6 days, he hid, surviving on stolen supplies. Eventually, he was caught, but he wasn't done. Back in jail, he lost weight, on purpose. Using a hacksaw blade, he carved a hole in the ceiling of his cell. On New Year's Eve, while guards assumed he was asleep, Bundy climbed into the crawl space, broke through into the jailer's apartment, changed into civilian clothes, and walked out the front door. He traveled over 1,000 miles, all the way to Florida. In Florida, the violence escalated. On January 15, 1978, he entered the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University. 2 women were killed, others were injured. Weeks later, 12-year-old Kimberly Leach was abducted and murdered. The brutality shocked the nation. This time, there was no escape. On February 15, 1978, Bundy was arrested driving a stolen car. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Bundy chose to represent himself in court. He smiled for cameras, cross-examined witnesses, and turned the trial into a media event. But the jury saw through the act. He was convicted and sentenced to death. Over the next 9 years, he gave chilling interviews, offering vague confessions, some say only to delay his execution. On January 24, 1989, at 7:16 a.m., Ted Bundy was executed in Florida. Outside the prison, people cheered. Ted Bundy was not a monster in the dark. He was the monster you never suspected. His story is a chilling reminder. Evil doesn't always come with a warning. Sometimes it smiles. This was the truth. If you want more real stories behind real darkness, subscribe and stay curious.